Good morning, sunshine. Are you ready to be energized? Still think that music finishes a little bit too abruptly. Good morning. Welcome to Radio Apocalypse and the Early Show. Hope you are all well. Listen, look. It's Monday. It is Monday. It's the start of a whole new week. You guys made it through the whole of last week. You survived the apocalypse for another week. Isn't it amazing? That's not because of me, it's because of you guys. You guys are amazing. Welcome to everybody watching live, and welcome to everybody that is watching it back later. I hope it's all good for you. Today, like I say, is Monday. It's Monday the 20th of July. I had to figure that out there. What is 7 again? I have one of my pills stuck in my throat. Hold on. That's better. And yeah, it is 11 days. 11 days till I go back to work. Unless I win the lottery before then, it's 11 whole days. But we'll wait and see what happens. We'll be looking at the papers in just a second. I've had a wee skim through it. They're all a variation of a theme. Monday papers are never really exciting unless something miraculous has happened over the weekend. Oh, excuse me. Not many miraculous things have actually happened though. But what can we do? What can we do? Tonight though, you see this little, hang on. Yeah, brilliant. I'm getting used to where my fingers are supposed to be. This little picture here is for The Old Guard. Something that can be watched on Netflix throughout the world. It is a great movie. And go and give it a watch before 10:30 tonight. This one is going to be good fun tonight to talk about this. This is based on the comic books of the same name, and I think they've done quite a good job. I don't want to go into spoilers, tidbits, or anything like that before the show tonight, but we will be talking about it, reviewing it, dissecting it, pulling it to bits before your very eyes tonight at 10:30 on the round table. What else? I've just hit hang on, I'll tell you directly just now. Fourth. Oh no, that's not me. This will just take a second. I didn't think. There we go. Push that button. 4,246 followers now on TikTok. We're moving closer to the goal of 5,000. Recommend getting TikTok because we're going to be doing something unique there in conjunction with another show which will be launching either for a Tuesday or a rotating sort of series on a Wednesday with the human condition. We'll talk more about that later. And yes, that will be interesting because what we're going to do, no, I'll tell you later. We'll talk about that after the papers. I just give it all away. I'm a bit dark again, haven't I? Hold on. Bright lights. That is totally bright. And the warm light, a little bit better. There we go. If Nyla was here, she'd be saying, switch your light on, Mo. But I don't think she is here, which is good. So I can get away with being remotely naughty. Okay, let's talk about the papers. Then we'll do our poem. And then we will talk about what that particular special thing is. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Oh, big yawn. Okay, we're going to start with the Daily Telegraph this morning. And that is, main headline is lockdown may cause 200,000 extra deaths. Right, so they're now saying that lockdown is a bad thing. I wonder how many extra deaths there would have been if there was no lockdown. You know? Wow. Weight loss surgery drive to tackle obesity. Tory backers to miss out on peerages. Yeah, to miss out on peerages, quite rightly. So, lockdown may cause an extra 200,000 deaths is the lead story from the front page of the Telegraph. Government experts, the paper says forecasted that delays to treatment in the first 6 months of shutdown could see up to 25,000 people die and a further 185,000 deaths in the medium to long term, amounting to nearly 1 million years of life lost. Wow. That's scary. The numbers of suicides could rise by 500 in the first wave and between 600 and 12,000 more suicides per year, resulting from recession, the paper reports. That is scary. If you're feeling that bad about lockdown, the pandemic as a whole, if you feel it necessary to have those I need to end it all thoughts, you need to seek professional help. You can't, things are never that bad. There's always a way to fight through them. Really. Really. Glorious new photos of B's secret garden wedding, but still no sign of Andrew. He was there. I walked her down the aisle, but he's not in any pictures. It makes you wonder, why is he not in the pictures? Do you think that he... Oh, hang on, there's a sneeze coming on. Look at the sun. Oh, it's going. I yawned to core. Do you think that he's been deliberately, physically airbrushed out of them? And I don't mean actually airbrushed out of them in Photoshop. I mean actually told not to be there, using airbrushing as a metaphor. No, you're not going to be in these ones on the buns that we show the public. Wow. Chaos as COVID delays hit families applying for holiday passports, new parents registering births, and older drivers renewing licenses. Backlog Britain. That is a great headline. Also focusing on the effects of lockdown, the Daily Mail says coronavirus delays have hit a raft of sectors. A raft? Yes. Leading to backlog Britain. Lives are on hold due to hold-ups. Official agencies from holiday passport applications to registering births and renewing driver's licenses. The paper reports new photos of Princess Beatrice's wedding. Also features prominently on the Daily Mail's front page. That's nice. That's backlog Britain, though. That's a lot to do. I hope that they get... the kids are going away with their mum in September. So I truly hope that they get the passport situation sorted out, because Roon needs his passport still. The Guardian. Doctors urge public help prevent devastating second wave of virus. Hold on. Yeah, that'll be interesting. What's that? Racism killed my son. China says Uyghurs are not being abused. Protest in Israel over surge in COVID cases. Okay. Hang on. My nose is running. Oh dear. Right. Meanwhile, The Guardian says senior doctors are urging the public to prevent a devastating second wave of coronavirus amid the mixed government messages about face masks and returning to work. A second wave coinciding with seasonal flu and the impact of a backlog of treatment for other illnesses such as cancer could overwhelm the NHS, experts warn. People might think COVID is over with, but it isn't over, Dr. Alison Pittard from the Faculty of Intensive Care Medicine says. Yeah, do you know something? I think that we all need to understand that you have to do your best not to give the virus a chance. This is something, that's the words that my dad actually used. Because I popped into his social distancing hairdressing salon after I was at the hospital on Friday just to say, hey, when can we get a haircut? Because let's face it, we need a haircut. I'm not going to walk around with gelled back. Well, actually, you know what? It's not too bad, you know, when I look at it. Gelled back hair. It's either that or I take the clippers to it, but my mum will go crazy. They're just sitting over there with the guard on. It was this close to shaving it off yesterday, but we'll wait and see. Regardless of that, we need to not give the virus a chance. It's important. So if you're going to be a bit of a dick, not wear a mask, if you're going to be a bit of a dick and, you know, do all the things that you're not supposed to do, we're going to pay the consequences. I mean, you could take a chance. It's up to you. Nobody can make you do something you don't want to do, but the legislation that's been put in place, you're going to have to stick to it, because if you're caught breaking it, you'll pay the price, you know? Interested to have a look. Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial has resumed after a 2-month hiatus. The Israeli leader is fighting fresh public discontent and protests over his handling of the coronavirus surge. You didn't really hear that much about what's it called? Israel. I'm going to Google that. We'll have a look at that at the end. Israel coronavirus. It's something that I didn't. And all the things that have gone on didn't really. Oh wow. That's not, compared to the rest of the world, it's not too bad. 50,289 cases and 409 deaths. You know, it's still an absolute tragedy. But when you look at it on the grand scheme of things, you know, we've had in Scotland we've had a few thousand deaths. Okay. When was that? That was 10 minutes ago. That's in the worldometer of it all. Israel, coronavirus cases, deaths. Right, interesting. Okay, let's go to countries. This is a great worldometer. Coronavirus cases globally, 14,646,000. Wow, that's a lot. Does it have Scotland? Or does it just do the UK? Nah. Wow, amazing. Mexico are up an extra 296 deaths today. Pakistan up an extra 31 deaths today reported. We've not got the rest of the figures for the world. This is a group. Why come I've never seen this before? That's amazing. Wow. If anybody wants to look at this, I'll just grab that off there and we'll pop that in there. That's the worldometer. The worldometer. Amazing. Astounding. Right. Okay. Let's move on to the next little bit. The Daily Mirror. NHS heroes forced to work for free. I saw this last night when I was setting up the stream. Poll reveals staff to do an average of 11 hours extra a week unpaid, and was before the virus. That's a disgrace. NHS staff worked up an extra 11 hours unpaid hours a week before the coronavirus struck. The Daily Mirror reports, adding there are concerns the situation worsened as the pandemic wore on. Sarah Gorton, head of health at Unison, the UK's largest trade union, said no one should be working for free, especially those on the COVID front line. Yep, absolutely. Nobody should be working for free anyways. It's against anti-slavery laws in this country. That is a disgrace. An absolute disgrace. Especially considering we rely so heavily upon the NHS. Don't like that. Don't like it at all. The Metro Flexi Line fare, that's a lot fairer. Part-time commuters offered season ticket deals. Move comes as firms prepare for return to offices. Striking more optimistic tone, the Metro reports that part-time rail commuters will be offered flexible season tickets as firms prepare for workers to return to offices from the 1st of August. Great Western Railway is to introduce a 3 days in 7 season ticket on trains into the capital, the paper says, with dynamic discounting promised on Merseyrail and Greater Anglia services. We need to do something. We're moving into a dynamic within Great Britain, these islands, and I will say Britain for just now, that because we need to work together on this one. We need to even south of the border need to pull their socks up and move in a direction that is similar to what we're doing up here. We need to reinforce the masks, especially if we're going back to the offices. We need to have more flexible working conditions where staggered work times starting and things, maybe a rotation of rotas and things where people start and finish earlier and later, a phased return into work from people that are working at home currently. Maybe only the most important roles come back to work first. We have to do the right thing, not give the virus a chance. We just don't want another resurgence. China and UK trade barbs as relations hit new low. Foreign Secretary says Beijing is committing gross human rights abuses against ethnic minority Uyghurs, and sanctions cannot be ruled out. Chinese ambassador warns of a resolute response and denies existence of concentration camps after being shown footage of blindfolded prisoners. Government ready to suspend extradition treaty with Hong Kong today after RAB warns it cannot be business as usual after the pandemic. Absolutely. If a country is committing human rights violations, we should do our best not to involve ourselves with them at all and condemn such behaviours. It is something that is in this day and age, there's no room for it. Okay, so with that in mind, would you consider third world debt a human rights violation? I do, personally. Why do we have to hold the chains of debt and slavery? Because that's what it is, over another country. We should not take advantage of countries in this situation at all. Right. The Times, first for football. Chelsea storm into FA Cup final. Amazing. China tensions mount as extradition treaty shelved. Millions in aid cash goes on cafes and luxury hotels. Amazing. Good. Let's have a look. These poor people. Hong Kong move risks further angering Beijing at MPs call for a ban on video sharing app TikTok. Wow. Really? Right, still focusing on escalating tensions between London and Beijing, the Times reports that Britain will shelve its extradition treaty with Hong Kong later. Mr. Rabb will tell the House of Commons that in response to China's security law being imposed on the former British colony, the UK will suspend its extradition agreement with Beijing. The US is considering a similar move, the paper adds, and US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will fly into London later ahead of talks with the Foreign Secretary and PM this week. Yep, China bad, China bad, China bad. I have to say that, you know, they're not doing any favours for themselves, but banning social media apps to piss them off, or on the back of that's the wrong thing to do. For security risks, it's the right thing to do. But bear in mind that China is not really going to be interested in what I'm doing. It's mostly going to be on government and government department people who may have the app on their phones. That's where it'll be the problem. Last bill. Good. That one didn't get stuck. Financial Times. Wirecard special audit risked in misinterpretation. Okay. UK ready to suspend extradition pact with Hong Kong. Yeah, we've gone through that. Meanwhile, the Financial Times reports accountancy from EY wanted payments from Wirecard that a draft of independent audit report by KPMG lacked context and could lend to inaccurate conclusions, and leaders from the EU are still involved in a marathon summit talks over Europe's proposed $750 billion pandemic response. Yep, there will be in talks. That's a lot of money, and how to divvy it up as well. House prices bounce back to hit a new high. That is good. That's a positive thing. But you know, a new high. We could have done with cheaper housing for people. That would have been better. In other news, house prices have bounced back to reach a record high. The Daily Express lead, citing property experts. In the paper says typical asking price for a 3-bedroom detached house rose by over £7,500 compared to the week before lockdown, which was 320,250. 65 was the average price. I'm not a house owner or a house buyer. I rent from the council, so I consider myself to be reasonably lucky. Daily Star, they think it's all overs. German crazy for cricket. Not interested in that. That's the papers. You know, it's interesting to think. I'm going to go and have a quick look at that coronavirus world chart again. Here we go. Yes, recovered 8,737,835 globally. 608,000, almost 609,000 deaths. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? Crazy, crazy. Okay, so a little poem, I believe, is in order for to continue our journey through 2020 being the book of poems that I wrote that span a year of my life in the world, where I was just beginning to get to know my future wife. She lived in Moscow, I lived in Edinburgh, I live in Edinburgh, and we had this long distance relationship going on. I've just popped the link in the chat there for anybody interested in having a wee look at it. I'll pop it in the information as well about the stream too. But yes, this one is a long poem. It's called The Woman in the Hood. It's a very long poem. 2 whole pages of the book. So let me clear my throat and read the blurb about it. I was described as an interesting character by my lady. I did not understand what this meant, so I tried to lay it out in a small ball of prose for her to read. This was the best I could do at the time, and it appears to be reasonably accurate. And it is called The Woman in the Hood. This woman who wears the head-covered red hood has the values to envy and soulfully good, manners polite, not a bad word or rude. She looks out for herself and others. Her trial was being alone in this big world, set apart by events in her life that it swirled. For while her passion was pent up, and all was furled, no one for her to give love. And one day on an errand she stumbled across a man who harboured intentions not dross, who made her feel special and made of her a fuss, and brought colour back into her life. He walked with her as his errands she ran, and she discovered he was such a charming man, an attitude of why not, an inevitable can, something her heart had never quite experienced. The spirited soul, his passion devoured her, like a wolf on his prey wanting more. She and his gentle words spoken, oh, made her purr. A bond was forming strong, and soon enough, her errand complete, they had to walk away with sorrowful feet. But they knew to be true, again they would meet, as the connection was strong in its form. So by carrier pigeon they did converse, and he sent such prose and beautiful verse, some of it tender, some completely perverse. But his words she loved every one. Their paths were ensured to cross once again, and for sure they would part with lovers' due pain, working so hard to make it work sane. In short time they began to know that when something is good it's worth the fight, even when you spend alone every night, because your heart lifts high when she is in sight, and you will never give up on her. That was written in 2015. Wow, that's a long time ago now, looking back on it. And it was one of those sort of poems when you write it, you think to yourself, wait a minute, I'm trying to sort of like touch on bits of one personality and another personality without being insulting, taking the good parts of it all. Yeah, I remember writing that. Incredible. There we go. Right, we're almost at the end of the show. We're trying to time the show down to about 30 minutes, and we've nailed it today. We've just hit 30 minutes just now, because when I go back to work, we will be having to have the show cut down to 30 minutes and starting half an hour earlier. Oh, big stretch. Perfect. I feel better after that. Good. Right, let us bring up the end of the show music. And hold on, where is it? There it is, there. Diddly doo. We'll just keep it quiet just now because I like the sound of the banjos in my ears. Okay, I promised I would be talking about developments of what we're going to be doing. Currently we run shows 5 nights a week, and we're coming towards the end of kind of season 1, so to say, of the human condition. So I don't want to dilute the pool of interesting things that we talk about and discuss there. I do want to keep it open for future events and things, and I want to rotate a new show in on a Wednesday. and it's going to be called The Truth About History, and it's looking back at the hidden histories of the world, where we actually dive in and look at the sort of things where there's archaeological evidence to ask questions. It's something that I've always been interested in, and we'll take subjects and we'll really look into them in depth, so we can quote from books, we can bring up pictures and so on and so forth. But we're not just going to take it there, stop it there for it all. By the end of this week, as long as the UK and the United States have not banned TikTok, I intend to do a discussion show on TikTok with Cognac. Now, I've spoken to Cognac, and he's all game for this. But what we're going to do is we're going to do it in conjunction with the actual show that we do on the Wednesday. So if we're talking about say how the pyramids were built, okay, I'll do the documentary style show, talk about that, discuss it in a bit more depth, and then we will then talk about it on TikTok as well. And the goal is to try and bring more interesting people across to watch the show on YouTube. We'll get there. It'll grow slowly. I'm not looking to go crazy. We are not following the pattern that so many YouTubers follow and get great success from. I don't really want to do the niche thing. I don't really want to do that. I quite like the little eclectic group of people we have in the evening, and the people that watch this back, the morning show, early show, sorry, in the morning. It's quite interesting as a whole. So yes, that is kind of the future there. There's also another part of it. It's not just the truth about history. It's just going to be another one called the human spirit, okay, which is a similar type thing, but it goes into the depths of human behaviours as a spiritual thing, and the depth and interest of that. That is another evolution of that. So there will be a factor of that in the discussion with Cognac and I on TikTok. So go and grab TikTok if you want to watch that. Okay, we'll be talking about that more. I'll start to advertise that soon, because we will be hitting 5,000 where I can dual broadcast with him very soon, and we'll have a couple of little trial broadcasts. Now the thing is, when you go live with TikTok, you can't actually record it and keep it. It doesn't work that way unless they change things in the next couple of days, where they've changed it in the past few days. You can't actually record it as content, much to my disappointment. So why TikTok and not Instagram? Just because we've got the potential of a greater audience there, which will make things much more interesting. There might be a way that I could record it on the desktop. We'll look into that, and if we can do that, we will certainly record it as content and bring that across and stick it on YouTube as part of the shows as well. Alright, that would be great. Listen, that's us done for the day. I hope that you have a great Monday. I hope that you can join us tonight for the old guard on the round table. And yes, we will speak to you super duper soon. Take care, have fun, and be safe and all that jazz. Make sure that you look after your family, look after those that you love, wash your hands regularly, wear a mask, and just be safe. Be happy. Bye.